There's no time to dwell on not winning the league. We need a better centre back and we can hopefully get Upamecano, although he wants outrageous wages. Hopefully we can come to some agreement. I have also set up scouts to look for future Lewandowski replacements. His injury did drop a lot of his attributes and we still need a backup at least. But let's get this contract sorted out first, and 350 grand a week isn't too bad. We can hopefully bring that down a bit, and there we go, 325 for a permanent Araujo replacement, who remember we sold for 150 million, which is 2.5 times more than what we were just about to pay for Upamecano, so I think that is very good business. And with 87 million pound left in profit, with spending 65, we've got 22 million pounds to find a backup striker this season for Lewandowski, without selling any other players yet. Players I wouldn't mind selling this season is Rafinha, good player and only 27, but I noticed Michael Elise wants to move, and I think he would be a better fit personally. Christensen again, he's good, but with Upamecano coming in and Eric Garcia coming back from loan, I could cash in. To be honest, I was hoping there would be a lot more interest in my squad players, but it's very quiet at the minute. And I genuinely might have to give up trying to sell Longley. Vitor Roque had a good season at Hanover, scoring 7 goals and getting 4 assists. He may need another loan deal though, however, to keep developing, but he kept Hanover safely in the Bundesliga, which was the main plan. I also discovered too that on the tactic screen I can ask Xavi to change my tactic pick to the one that he suggests and all the instructions that he believes suits the players. Whether that is what he would do or not, I'm not 100% sure, but that is the tactical instructions of tiki-taka possession football, and that's what he plays. The champions Real Madrid are wasting no time strengthening their side, putting in a bid for Kulusevski. So I decided to go on the hunt for a backup striker for under 20 million, and there were a few recognisable names, but the one that stood out for me was not a name I have heard of before. Betarame, playing in Mexico, might be a cheaper option to go to and sit behind Lewandowski this season while we wait for Vitor Roque to develop, and an offer of £8.5 million accepted. And on the day that we signed the Argentine striker, Bayern looked to rock the boat by bidding for our goalkeeper ter Stegen, who also wants to go, unfortunately. And Bayern Munich matched the asking price of £94 million. I went to get my ideal replacement straight away in Diogo Costa, but unfortunately he's unwilling to talk after the Euros, annoyingly. We do agree to sell Serginho Dest though, so that's more money we can now spend, as well as loaning Vitor Roque to Mallorca for another season, and I'm excited to see how he looks after another year starting every game. Just as we completed the deal reluctantly to sell ter Stegen to Bayern Munich, I put in my second offer for Costa, and this time he is willing to talk, and we get a contract agreed for a very cheap wage compared to the guy we just sold. Norway won the Euros, by the way, beating Spain in the final. No idea how they did that. Anyway, we got Costa signed, and although it sucked losing ter Stegen, we got a very good replacement, and we made an extra 20 million. So I guess I gotta work out how much I've got left to spend. Okay, so I had £87 million roughly after last season's transfers, ins and outs in profit. Then we made another £85 million for ter Stegen, giving us £175 million. Costa was 65, leaving us with £110 million. Upamecano was also 65 and Betarame was 8.5, leaving us with £36 million in profit to spend. And now we are finally getting bids for Longley too, as well as the £11.75 million to add for Serginho Dest. So the 8.25 from Longley amounts to 56.5 million. You still following along or confused like me? And we may need a winger because Rafinha's picked up a very bad injury. Brais Mendes was the name that caught my eye as I absolutely adore his mental and technical attributes. But unfortunately, he just signed a new contract. Of course, I already mentioned Elise. He's a little bit pricey, but could he be the one I go for? I was, however, smart enough this time to check the transfer list, and I noticed Kingsley Coman out there for 57 million, just 0.5 million more than what we've got. But if I could raise a little bit more money, I could also get a Yathabal. But I couldn't sell anybody that I didn't want to keep, and I couldn't afford to buy any of these wingers just yet, until Abde had a wanted sign from Villarreal, which could be my gateway to a better option, so I offered him out. But again, no offers coming in for the player. No offers, and now zero interest either. So instead I looked for a cheaper option to develop, and Talles Magno fitted the bill. He was young and can play anywhere across the front three positions with decent attributes, and most importantly, we could afford him. And I eventually got a deal done for the Brazilian after they accepted a 13.25 million. and we got him signed the day before the first game of the season against Celta Vigo. He started on the right hand side as Xavi's 4-3-3 and scored weirdly from a set piece. And we won 4-1-2, which was great. In the second game, he was on fire, scoring an absolute worldie, curling one into the top corner. But we actually drew that game 1-1. Our window closed and Oz P2C Brace Mendes go to Real Madrid on loan weeks after rejecting me. Although we won the next 2 games, September was not kind to us, picking up 2 losses, including to Villarreal in the league. Already meaning we are chasing the title after just 6 games. Mine October was not much better, dropping more points in the league with 2 draws and getting spanked in Munich by ter Stegen's new club. November was a better month, especially in the league, and Lewandowski scored in every game. We didn't play any difficult teams in the league this month though, but we also didn't concede a single goal, and we started scoring many again, including Rafinha coming back from injury and Gavi hitting absolute rockets in off the crossbar. We did also win another game in Germany, this time in Leverkusen, and it was 6-2. But then we got beat by Manchester City at home. In the league, we are currently sat in 3rd place, not as bad as I feared. 5 points behind Real Madrid, but 20th in the Champions League after 5 games. That is shocking for Barcelona, with a very tricky December ahead, including El Clasico. But once again, we got in trouble before that match when Valencia took the lead from a corner, and we had to wait to the second half and rely on teenager Gavi to snatch us a draw and just a 1 point. And I have no idea what's happened in the Champions League this season, another loss. When El Clasico came around, our confidence was already low, and then Bellingham scored within 4 minutes. It stayed 1-0 until the 66th when Robert Lewandowski fired us back level and gave us something to build on, but then we threw that all away, allowing Vinicius Jr. to do a mazy run and put Real Madrid back in front. But thank God, because we know how important these head-to-head matches are after last season, Rafinha's cross dropped to the oncoming De Jong, who smashed it into the top corner in stoppage time. And you're probably thinking, that's amazing, Luke. Maybe Xavi got the size momentum from this end of the game and took it into the next game and smashed the team 4-0. Well, you literally couldn't be more wrong. Ending the year in 4th place and 10 points behind an unbeaten Real Madrid. I decided to check the end of contract players, and I could approach Matoma, who I thought would be an excellent squad player for us next season. Not bad for a free transfer, you know. We also started the year with a loss too. I generally might have to fire Xavi before I get sacked. He did win the Super Cup though. However, I have £43.25 million left and I wish to spend it, so I do keep checking the transfer list, but nobody is standing out to me right now. My scouts, however, found this 6'7" striker from Flamengo who's only 17 called Anderson, and I'm very curious about him. I've decided I'm going to snap up Ruben Neves, who is so cheap because of the transfer to Saudi Arabia, and I just cannot turn that down. But of course, Porto matched the bid as well. Our Champions League fixture was incredibly important. We thankfully beat Trabzonspor 3-0, so we need to win our last game to qualify for the playoff stage at least, which we managed to do comfortably, fortunately, leaving us in 18th place. Honestly though, the league is just being thrown by Xavi. Ruben Neves chose us over his boyhood club, and I'm absolutely buzzed with the signing, and that leaves us with £39.75 million, which I might leave to the summer. Or for a laugh, I could try and bring back Neymar to Barcelona. Then I seen Valverde on the transfer list, and Real Madrid accepted my bid. But he doesn't want to join because of the rivalry, you absolute straub. We got back to winning ways in the league as Talis Magno scored the only goal against Girona. But Las Palmas knocked us out of the cup. In the Champions League, we got drawn against Newcastle, who got a red card within 20 minutes, and thankfully we capitalised on that, with Lewandowski scoring 2 goals within 7 minutes towards half-time, and that allowed us to carry on putting on the pressure in this first leg, eventually going 3-1 up after Almiron pulled one back for Newcastle, but Ansu Fati made it 4-1 before Lewandowski secured his hat-trick from the spot. We lost the second leg, but it doesn't matter too much, and we go on to face Sporting in the round of 16. Speaking of losing though, Villarreal gave us yet another league defeat. And at this point, we might as well kiss the league goodbye. Back to the Champions League though, and Talis Magno scores from another set piece. And in the second half of the first leg, we double our advantage through Frankie de Jong, cruising through to the quarterfinals with a draw in the second leg, where it's another Portuguese team who await us. Once again though, we are taking heavy losses in the league. Remember, this isn't me who's at fault here, this is Xavi as manager. I'm just a director of football. Was it me who went all the way to Porto in the first leg of the Champions League quarterfinals, only to get our ass beat 3-0 and come away losing all hope? No, that was Xavi. However, this very same Xavi guided this Barcelona team in the second leg after 67 minutes of being 3-0 down to 3-1, which 2 minutes later became 3-2 when Abdi scored. And just 7 minutes after that, the impossible comeback looked possible as Abdi scored a third, making it 3-3 in aggregate, taking this game to penalties, but Gundogan, he missed the first one. As does Icardi for Porto though. Both teams then score penalties all the way up to Romario Barro, whose penalty was saved by Diogo Costa, and we somehow progress through to the semi-final of the Champions League, and I'm exhausted. And our opposition for that semi-final? It's Real Madrid. We had 15 shots on goal in the first leg, but it was Rudiger's only goal of the game that decided this half of the tie. He did also get himself sent off because of a reckless tackle attempt on Lewandowski. And Courtois, no shock, took home the man of the match champagne. We were due to face Real Madrid 2 more times before the end of the season, but only one really matters more than the other, because I dare say the league is already won by Real Madrid. We went into the second leg off the back of a fantastic result away from home. But once again, we fell to just 1 goal in the second leg. This time, it was scored by Tchouaméni. And with Real Madrid already crowned champions, we need to beat them just this one time to have something to smile about this season. Because they also won the Copa del Rey too. And for the third El Clasico in a row, there was just 1 goal scored, but thankfully, it was Barcelona. We actually ended the season in the league with some very good results and a strong defence. But I don't know if Xavi is going to last into next season, if I'm honest. Because we should be doing way better than this.